Okay, so today we're going to take a look at building this little game. It's a race car game, and let me show you how it works. So you press the start button, and the car moves to the starting position, and the score resets to 0. And you press the space bar to move, and the left and the right arrow keys to steer it. So here we go, pressing the space bar, and then I got to try to get it around. Whoa, don't crash. If you see what happens? If you hit a green on the inside or the outside, your car obviously looks like it catches on fire, and it says press the green flag to start over. So let's try that again, see if we can do it. All right, so it goes back. When you press the green flag, it goes back to the beginning. Press the space bar. Let's try to see if we can not crash this time. Okay, so far so good. Oh shoot. Oh, crash, game over. All right, let's start again. See if I can get around now. It's actually kind of hard. That's okay. That makes it fun. Makes it challenging. All right. All right. And as I go across the starting line, my score increases. I got 23 points now. So let's continue to go around. And let's see what happens. See if I can do this without crashing. One more time. And I win. Okay. And the reason why it caught on fire when it hit there, because it hit that, even though we did win. Okay, so we won. It's over. So you win when your score gets over 40. So it takes it about 2 laps. All right. So let's see about programming this. Okay. So I've got AJB race car blank that you can use to start with, and it's got your backdrop, and it's got 2 sprites. And when you get this open, you can click on the remix button, and then it's yours to do with what you want. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got we can program in here. All right, so we want to start. So we're going to go to an event. The first thing that you have to do is press the green flag. And when you press the green flag, the car moves back to where it belongs. If the car was crashed and it had the fire on it, it switches back to the regular unburning car. Because if you look at your sprite, oops, I was even programming on the wrong sprite. So we need to be programming on sprite 1. Okay, so let's go over here on sprite 2 and get rid of that. So in sprite 1, when you click the green flag, the car changes from the burning sprite to the regular sprite. So if you look at the costumes, costume 2 is the regular sprite, costume 3 is the burning sprite, and I don't know what happened to costume 1, but it doesn't matter. So we want it to change back to costume 2 when we start. So let's go back over to our code, and looks is where you change costume. So we are going to find change costume. Where did change costume go? Switch costume. Oh, there we go. All right, so when we press the green flag, we are going to change it to costume 2, which is the regular car. Okay? Now, wherever it is where you ended up, we want it to always go back to the beginning. All right? So the beginning is, that's not quite where we want it to be for the beginning. Let's put it about right there. Okay? This is where we always want it to go to start. Okay? And you also want it to be going right, because you see down here with direction is in degrees, and if you change direction, it spins the car around. But we always want it started out going right, and that's 90 degrees. So let's leave that one at 90. We can type it if we want to. All right, so we want it direction going 90. All right, so let's see if we can find a motion one that will do that. So we want, oh, this is the one right here. Look at this. Glide 1 second to there. Okay? So that's always going to put it back there. So look, if we have the car up here somewhere and we push the green button, it will glide back to where the starting position is. Okay, see, do that, glides back to the starting position. Okay, perfect. Now, what happens if we had the car turned the wrong direction? Okay, how do we get it back going 90 degrees, which is to the right? You have to do another one. There is a point right here, point in direction 90. Look, that's perfect. We don't even have to change it. All right, so now no matter which direction your car is pointed or where it is, it's going to glide back to right here when you press the start button. Now, something else we have to do. This game has a score box up here. What do we want our score to be when we get finished? When we start, we want it to be 0. So to find score is way down at the bottom in variables. All right, this backdrop, when you remix it, it already has a variable called score. See, that's checked. Okay, and so at the beginning of it, we want to set the score to 0. All right, so it's going to set the score to 0 for that. All right, so when we click it, it's going to switch the costume. It's going to glide back into place. It's going to point in the direction of 90. And then it is going to set the score at 0. So let's say our car is over here. Let's say it was on fire. All right. Now, if I push the start button, it's going to switch it back to the regular costume not being on fire, and it's going to set the score at 0, and it's going to put it at the starting line. Nice. All right. So now we need to make it go. And to make it go, we want to press the space bar. Okay? It's not going to go when you click the green flag because you might not be ready and have your hand on the keys to steer it. So let's go back over here to events. Okay? Let's get this one. So when the space key is pressed, all right? Here we go. We want it to keep going and going and going until the game is over. So how do we do that? In the control, we want it to go forever. And what do we want it to always do? We want it to be moving. Okay, so we've got to go back up here and look at motion, and we want it to be moving. All right, and this time we're not giving it a direction because we want to change its direction by steering it. So we just want it to move for some steps. All right, 10 steps is a lot. So let's try just moving it 2 steps. Okay. Now, let's see if that works. So when we hit the green button, it goes back to the beginning, and when we hit the space key, it starts moving, okay? And it's just going to keep on going. Now, it ran off the edge because I don't have any part of the program in here to steer it with yet, all right? So we got to keep going with it. So that's good. So let's reset it, press the space bar. Press the green button. All right, now, how do we steer it? All right, so this time, the last time we did a program, we just told it to move in a different direction. We told it to go Y or X because we only had it moving at right angles. This time's a little different, okay? So when our space, we don't want to be able to turn it until we have the space bar pressed. So we need an event when the space key is pressed. Okay, now we want it to turn. And I think I saw some turns up here. Look, there's the move. That's what we use. Oh, look, there's turn right there. Boom. Okay, so when the space key is pressed, we want it to be able to turn 15 degrees. Which way is that one? Oh, wait. It's not the space key. We don't want to turn it with the space key. We want to turn it with the right arrow. And this is a right turn because you see it's going to the right. So when the right arrow is pressed, it is going to turn 15 degrees. Okay, let's check that out and see if that works. I'm going to hit the start button, and when I hit the right arrow, does it turn? Oh, look, it turns. Okay, that's a lot of turn. Maybe we better back it off just a little bit. Let's change that to 10 degrees. So we're going to change that one to 10. All right, now when you hit the right arrow, 10 degrees, which is just a little bit. All right. So that works. All right. So we hit start button and put it back the way it belongs. Okay. Now, that's just turning right. What are you going to do to make it turn left? You've got to build that part. Okay. I'll leave that up to you. All right. So we've got it moving forward, and now you know how to make it turn. Now, what else is going to happen here? All right. So, when it goes all the way around and makes one lap, we want it to increase your score. Okay. So there's another way. There's one way we can do that. When it gets down here to this green line, which is a sprite, we're going to make it increase the score. All right. So if you're going, it has to be, when you start this game, we want that to be able to work. Okay. So let's go over here to our events. Okay, so you don't want the score to increase unless the car is moving. And the car is moving when what? When the green flag is clicked, or space key. That's the space key. So when you press the space key, all right, then anytime it's running, you want your score to increase when it goes across the green line. So anytime it's running is anytime the game is running, and that's forever. All right. Now, if it touches the green line, then we want the score to increase. So we need an if then. All right. So now we need to go look at our sensings. If it's touching what? Here's a touching one. There's a touching color. You could probably do that when we did it yesterday, but our green line is a sprite. Let's see if we can do something about that. Oh, look. Sprite 2. Boom. There we go. If we're touching sprite 2, then what do you want to happen? You want the score to increase. Let's look down at our variables for the score. Okay, so do we want to set the score to a certain thing? No. We want to change the score. Let's change it by 1. Let's put that down there. So now whenever it hits the green thing, it's going to change the score by 1. So let's try that. I'll just go backwards because, oh no, it doesn't work. That's because I'm moving it and it didn't hit play. Oh, look. Okay. So, and you hit play, we're not going to be able to see if this works until we're actually playing the game. So remember, you got to be able to make it turn to the left as well. And now you know how to make the score increase. Okay. Now there's a couple of other things that happen. All right. We need to know what's going to happen when you win. Okay. Or how do we win? All right. So winning is also going to be anytime the game is running, and we're going to set a certain number of points. Okay. So let's go start again with when the space key is pressed. Okay. And we want this going pretty much forever while the game's running. And if something happens to the score, then we want to know it wins. Okay. So let's do that. So if something happens, then something's going to happen. And if we get to the certain score. So let's go down here and look and see if there's one of those. Down here. Okay, this one's a little different. We're going to use this greater than one. Okay, and we're going to put it here. This would mean if the score was greater than 50, then we're going to win. But that would take you more than 2 laps. So you probably want to change that to be more than 40. Because I think when you go around it twice, you get more than 40 points. So then you could win. And so what do you put here? We want if the score is greater than 40. And score is a variable. So you go down here. Look, see, there it is. So now if the score is greater than 40, then what's going to happen? All right. You're going to have to say some things because it said some things. So you want to go back up here to looks and you want to say something. All right. So let's say something for some seconds. Let's say, instead of hello, what do we want to say? You win. All right. For 2 seconds. And then you want it. It also said press the green flag to play again. So you could get another one of those. Press green flag to play again. Okay. 2 seconds. All right, then when you do that, you want this thing to end, and right now it's just going on forever. So there is a way to do that. If you go here to control, then there is one that will stop. So if you put that in there, that will stop everything and it will quit going on forever. Okay, how about that? Now, you've got one more that you might need to make here. Remember, when it touches the green, the car catches on fire and it stops. Okay, so you're going to build one almost exactly like this, except in your if part, it's not going to say if the score is greater than something. It's going to say if it's touching green. I showed you how to do that one yesterday. Okay, then when it touches green, remember the car is going to catch on fire and it has to switch costume to do that. Okay, and then it's going to say game over, press green flag to play again, and then you got to stop it. So it's almost just like that. So I'll let you finish. Remember what you need to do to finish this. You need another turn so you can turn it to the left, and you also need what's going to happen when you touch this color green, either the outside or the inside wall. Okay, let's do that.